Hi everybody, how are you doing? It's CJ Atemo and we are on CJ Scott today. Hope you have been well and you are doing well as well. Well, even if you don't feel like you are, there's always hope each and every day for you to get better, to do better, just because there's an opportunity for you to know better. I hope you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, CJ Atemo. If not, you have this opportunity right now to just go ahead and subscribe. Also follow CJ Scott Official on Instagram, CJ Scott on Facebook, CJ Scott 1 on Twitter. You might as well go ahead and follow CJ Atemo on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, as I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Well, I've got the panel here. As we always say that we set up the jury, but the verdict is yours. And we talk about all kinds of things that are pertinent to you. Today, we're going to talk about purpose, finding purpose and fulfilling it from a perspective of, we've got this leadership school. And today I am very excited because I'm having people who have been through the school. It's a school of leadership. But then again, our mantra is usually igniting the passion to fulfill purpose. So we'll be talking about it right now. People talk about finding purpose, fulfilling purpose. People talk about purpose in every kind of thing. I will hear people say, you need it in relationships. You need it to be fulfilled. You need it everywhere. It's a very interesting topic that we all somehow stumble into. So I need your comments, your thoughts, your views. When you were watching this, I would like to hear your views and your thoughts as well. So please share the stream. Invite your friends, host a watch party, tag somebody, and just make sure you're not watching this alone. Well, such a long introduction, right? But a good one at that. To my father's left, I've got Florence Nashami Wangara. She's an author, just brought out her book very recently. That's the second or the first one?
The second one.
It's the second one.
Yes.
Yeah, and part of our graduating class of CASOL in 2020, passionate about matters of young people and mentorship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome to the CJ Scott.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I've got this gentleman. He has been in one of our shows, and Reinhard Atella, Prince Reinhard Atella, very vocal as well with matters politics and young people. He keeps on saying that he's running in 2022.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and then we have got Roslyn Wanjiru. Roslyn, I don't know how to introduce you because what space is that you are in again?
Fintech and blockchain, emerging technology.
Can you break that down to anybody who is just sitting at home?
All right, so for someone who's wondering, what's the future of money? What's the future of value? You hear about technology. You've already seen digital money and M-Pesa. In the space of just helping companies figure out new payment methods and how technology fits into that. So in a nutshell, that's what I do, but I'm currently Director of Growth and User Acquisitions at Pesabase, which is a payments and it's a payment service. So
I always find that when people get technical, they just confuse us. They just confuse us. Yeah. My initial interaction with anybody that was talking about matters like, blockchain, so they would be saying, well, we already have digital money. Yeah. And so when they said M-Pesa's digital money, they said that the reward systems, loyalty points, that those were ways of digital money. Yes. Then that made a bit of sense. Yeah. But when you come in, fintech is supposed to be financial
technology, yes.
All right. Yes. So when you say fintech,
I
grew up in a different generation.
All right, just finance and technology in the simplest way possible.
All right. Yes. And I'll start with you because I know that this is a very interesting journey that you picked up like 3 years ago.
Yes.
Part of what we were doing in school. Today I'm doing promotion. Part of what we were doing in school, and when we were doing our module 2, so we had all of these projects. Yeah. Because the whole essence for this is to find purpose for yourself. Be your leader in life. Find purpose. Did you see yourself 4 years ago going the direction that you are now?
Honestly, no.
Right.
Because 4 years ago, I was just wondering what my next career option would be. I was actually looking to change jobs at the time. And I was very curious about, what can I find as a quote-unquote secure job? And I think that's a question every young person is, it's burning on the back of their minds. And you're wondering, what can I put my time to, my skills, my energy, my networks? And, you have all these questions about your dream and the job options that you have, and sometimes they just don't marry well together. So I was in a space of really just asking all these questions and wondering what would be a good fit for me. Of course, I had some business ideas around editing, around publishing, and like 5 others, which clearly I didn't pursue. But I actually wanted to do a master's in data science because I felt, all right, this sounds like it has some future prospects to it, so it might give me better job prospects. Exactly, but landing in now the space of technology, I felt this would challenge me to leverage especially on research, because I love research. And that's really at the heartbeat of my work. So a lot of what I do just has to do with research. For anyone who's wondering, okay, what's all this technology about? It's at the heart of it is research. And with this research, I'm able to find new parts of value, how decisions can be made, how strategies can be, just picked up from that, and really just using research to be able to create value that's sustainable in the future.
But how then would you relate that? Because there are people who struggle. They say, how do I know this is the path that I want to go? As you talk about the market and your skills when you came out of college, and you're asking yourself, so which is the stable job? It's a discussion that keeps on coming up, whether people feel prepared for where they need to go, or whether they actually are prepared. How would you get to the place where you say, okay, these are the indicators for me, that this is the path that I need to follow? Because you've got all these options, you've got all these ideas, you've got all these opportunities.
All right, so at the time I considered, first of all, the kind of work that would be very closely related to my skills. And my top skills at the time were speaking, editing, and that really revolves around research. But I felt that I needed to be in a workspace that would allow me, first of all, to grow. I'm very aware in saying this that not everybody gets that space that, you actually get a job or rather a workspace that enables you to get the growth that you need or the exposure that you want and all that. We tend to have jobs that, kind of limit us or one thing or another. You're just there to pay the bills ultimately. But I was really keen on getting a space where I would be able to grow, and at the same time, I was willing to volunteer. I was willing to be in a startup where I'm not necessarily paid, but I was looking at a workspace that especially would stretch me in terms of being exposed to new markets, exposed to new parts of growth and all that. And another thing I was considering at the time is that I needed to be comfortable with uncertainty. Because being in the space of emerging technology, things are changing almost every other week, month, year, and being able to keep up with that kind of change also places a demand on someone, to be constantly willing to learn. So for me, I knew I needed to be in that space where I can constantly be open to learning and willing to change the things that I know, and in that space then be comfortable with these are the things that I cannot control. I need to be comfortable with uncertainty, but at the same time, I need to be consistently better at what I do. And what I knew I could do well at the time is research. And being able to grow with that has really featured consistently in my work journey the last 3 years.
Raynard, I know that, and we were doing this, I know that you are not the kind of person who loves to have structured schooling.
I tell you this.
You're not the kind of person who loves to have that structured schooling thing, because I know you stay up a lot in the night, you're trying to get information from everywhere, you're all over the internet. You, like Rosaline, love researching and all of that kind of thing. But you came into CASOL as well.
My first ever school that I graduated out of when I first because I've dropped out of almost all the schools I've gone to.
But for you, how important would that be?
Personally, I believe that human beings are habit beings, and so I first of all realized that when I came to CASOL, there was this transformative agenda that I felt. One, there was practicality of the classes. And because one of the reasons, let me give my story back when I first joined university. It was Great Lakes University. So I want to mention the lecturer. The lecturer walked in and said, I know you guys are here, you want to go out there and change your lives. So just sit here, you'll be taught a lot of things. So I was waiting. By that time, I was doing my small businesses, and every day I would make like 20,000 doing poultry, doing dairy. So
20,000 a day.
20,000 a day, yes.
You have been doing very well for a very long time.
That was way back. I think 20 years. So the lecturer called me out. I think when people were introducing, I said I'm a businessman and stuff. So he called me out and asked me to lend him some money. So, he told me, this is a new university. We just started this campus, so our salary has not come yet. But in 3 months' time, it will come, and it will be a lump sum. And I asked him, how much will that be? 360,000. And I'm like, okay, wait. 360,000, three months. I have 300 in my account because I make 20 every day. This thing is not my thing. So I walked out. So I was looking for something that was so practical. I didn't go back because this guy had, I think,
What course were you supposed to study?
Business administration.
So you realize the man who is supposed to teach you business administration
doesn't even have a business in the first place. So I actually walked out of that school and never went back. He called me, Reina, what happened? No, just stay with the money. I will see how to collect it. So after that, I was looking for a practical school. So I joined my current degree program in USIU. To be honest, the first thing I liked was that the lecturers looked like they were, they know what they're talking about. But again, I never saw practicality. So when I walked into CASOL...
You've been sizing up lecturers everywhere you're going.
So my problem, I think, is being so practical. I just want to see that what you're telling me is working for you first, then I'll follow. So when I walked into CASOL, the first thing I realized is that the senior lecturer, who is you, is doing what you're talking about, Right. So you're practically going through these things, and I said, I can wait. For the weeks.
But Nashami, a lot of people then we struggle at that point because sometimes, even with degrees, Roslyn raised up that sometimes you have even these degrees, then you're looking at the job market, you're looking at where you need to go, you do not feel empowered. Or even if you think you are, you can't really connect what you have to what's out there. For you, what would you say would be your turning points to find yourself, you're writing books now, to find yourself in whatever you're doing right now? What are your turning points?
Well, I remember I'm a trained hotelier. And
I've heard you say that, and now you, instead of doing hotel work, you're here writing books and stuff. Yeah.
When I was in campus, I remember my friends would ask me, what are you doing here? You don't belong to this. You don't look like someone who will go out there serving soup and waiting on guests. You don't look like it. I thought so too. I felt deep within me, I am not called to work in that industry for long. Yeah. Well, I did 8 years in the hotel industry.
Wow.
But at some point, I encountered a different thing when I got an opening to work with a media company. And the reason I was called to that media company, because I have no training in that field, is because of my voice.
All right.
They felt that voice is needed for this project.
Yes.
Right.
And so getting in that space and just doing all that, I started seeing a few things come out, like when someone once told me, which nowadays I believe and I know, that I have an authoritative voice that commands audience. You like it or not, you listen to it.
It's a strong voice. Yeah, it's definitely
so starting to pick such things, and I
Right.
remember my big brother one day told me, when we were way back in high school, I think, those days when we used to write letters to each other.
Yeah.
Every time I would write him a letter, he told me he would just take time, not because he didn't understand, but he loved reading what I used to write.
Wow.
So he told me, one day you'll write a book, and I'm thinking, not me. So when I was in the hotel industry, at some point, when I was in Nairobi in whatever family media, then I went back to the hotel industry. Now, during that season, I started working a lot with young people. I'll be in forums where I'll be invited to talk to young people. I never imagined I could connect with young people. I felt teenagers are impossible. They are not my people. But getting into that space, I realized we connect a lot. Because personally, I come from a place where as a young person, I had no one to mentor me or anything.
Right.
I was a free soul just doing life. So I started realizing we're connecting and they want to hear more. So the more I worked with them, going back to the hotel industry, I remember that time I went back to the Mara, and it was hard. It was hard being back in the hotel industry, yet I loved it. But it was hard because I'm in there, I'm thinking, I'm supposed to be with some young people somewhere. I'm supposed to be out there, not confined in with animals, you know. So any opportunity I would get, I started going to the villages, to the manyatas, to talk to young people, because that was my heartbeat. That made me happy.
Yeah.
And I think I had to make a decision at some point. I purposely said, we are leaving this hospitality thing. And things fell in place for me because I just got a job that took me out of the hotel industry, out of the Mara, so that I could have more time. And bingo, I just got in full swing, everywhere with young people. And working with young people, actually, young people are the ones who made me start writing.
Wow.
Let's just talk about this because you were going into mentorship with young people. Rosalind, you were getting into fintech. But then there's the perspective like of Reinhard, which is for most young people, not just young people, but mostly the bottom line is it needs to make money.
Yes.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
That's bottom line.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're choosing this path, which you feel you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But if you don't see money in it, how do you stay on course? How much time should you give yourself? Because I think that there are people who give up on dreams and probably purposes they should have followed because they didn't see money at the end of it.
Yeah. So it comes back to your convictions. What are you really convicted about beyond your passions? Because at one point or another, you can't expect that because I'm getting into this business, I'm passionate about it, it will make money immediately. That's not even the right sense of business. So you need to give yourself even a 3-year window to be uncomfortable, which that's why
I hope Reinhard is
controversially,
listening to you.
and I say that controversially and carefully because at what point are you starting this business? Are you in your parents' home when you're starting this business? Are you out there on your own, as in completely starting life when you're getting into this business? You need to be considerate about the stage of life at which you're getting into this business, so that you're very practical about what you can do, what you can live within. Because if you're looking at getting into this business to make impressions, then you're already on the wrong course. You're going to crash. But if you're looking at making a reasonable income within your means and support your family, take care of yourself, then you need to just grind, for lack of a better word, have the grit to actually just persevere through the times that your finances are not making sense. And really, it's not about impressions at the end of the day. You can say that this is your passion, and you need to have you need to be patient enough with yourself to say that I'm not making the money that I need to make at this point, but in 5 years' time, I will get there, and this is my plan. This is what I'll commit to. This is what I'll work with, and this is what I'll do as an extra, because like for me, I started out with editing. That was not fully sustainable. I tried a couple of things before I landed in the fintech space. So guys also need to be as flexible and practical as possible, because we all have 24 hours, right? I would have wanted to write. I love writing, but I'm not writing now. So it comes back to being practical with, if I know I'm making this much money and this is working for now, let me work with this in a way that is reasonable over a period of time until you can scale up, because you can't scale without a proper foundation. Because I love Reina's example. If I know I'm making that 20K per day, you can live within that. What more are you doing, or how can you increase value from that?
But Reinhard, even as we talk about that, so you have tried so many things.
Yes.
And then you're writing.
I've actually done 13 businesses, all with certificate of incorporation in my drawer.
Wow.
I think I've succeeded in 2 or 3. Yeah.
Out of the 13,
yes,
you succeeded in 2 or 3. But for somebody who's sitting over there, then they think, I have passion in this. Probably their passion is music.
Yes.
But then they think music doesn't pay. So people quit. They just decide, let me get a job. Let me go and find a job somewhere else. It is better to have a job and be able to take care of your bills, because eventually you must pay your bills. Somebody else will be an author. You and Nashami have published books. Somebody else will be an author. They're thinking, if I'm going to put 300,000 into this book and it's not getting me back the money, why should I write? So they decide, you know what, let me go and do something else. What would you say to the person who actually has found what they feel they need to do, but their biggest worry is money?
Well, I think first somebody must come to that point of knowing that, you know, there's a difference between my purpose and what keeps me moving. So for me, it's been that I know that my purpose is, you know, transforming people's lives, being in leadership spaces, you know, mentorship and stuff. But then I also need to survive. Because you cannot go to schools and you're broke. You know, you cannot go and tell students, you know, guys, I need you to give me something to go back home. You know, nobody will listen to you. So I encourage people to look at life from two angles. One, know that this is my purpose. You know, purpose don't pay immediately. But at least when you're consistent with your purpose, one day it will pay off. And the rewards of purpose are always very huge. But then you need to find something that, you know, people usually take purpose as a means of running away from current responsibility. But I'm not going to get that job because I am following my purpose. So at the end of the day, you're suffering. And you're almost blaming God for putting that purpose in you. So I encourage, if you love music, go out, sing and just do it with all your heart. But when you come out, go look for somebody to give you a job. Or you know, people run away from this idea of being employed. We love being self-employed, which I think was my reason for failing so many times, because I didn't want anybody to employ me. And if you cannot be led, you cannot lead. So I encourage young people, you know that this is my purpose. I'll pursue it. But in the meantime, as David, he was busy playing, you know, his harp, which is I want to believe his passion was that. But then every day he was busy taking care of his father's sheep. So find something that you're doing that brings in something to sustain you as you follow purpose. Because purpose don't pay immediately, but when it pays well.
As you talk about it, you know, and this thought of be your own boss.
Yes.
Sometimes I have an issue with blanket statements.
Yes.
Because if everybody is going to be their own boss, who are going to work for them?
True.
You know, and I'm thinking that the better discussion, I had this discussion with somebody recently, I said the better discussion is to tell people to be effective wherever they are.
That's it.
Like, because some people will never actually do business and start up their companies. The hen lays 21 eggs, is it? Not all of them hatch. So not everybody will start a business to the point where it can employ people.
That's true.
But there's some people who would be very good as being managers. In fact, there are people who earn so much as employees. It would take you forever to earn that in business.
I think the problem is with the way society has been made to look at life, you know. We think that to be successful, you maybe have to be a president, you have a title there, your business is doing well. Sometimes for me, I think success is a mother who said, I want to raise up children.
And take care of them.
Take care of them. And as long as she does that passionately, and you know, she does it with all she has, I think to her she's just fulfilling purpose. The problem with our society is that we think that this is my purpose because I see it doing well and trending out there. So I want to do music because I have a voice. Everybody has one. I can't sing. I can't even connect my tunes. But then, because I see that if you start today, you know, let's come
someone else is famous.
Somebody's famous.
Yes.
I want to do it like Diamond. So our picture of success makes us avoid the work, the real work. You know?
The process.
So we don't do it really. Nobody does introspection and says, is this really what I want to do? If you ask me today, what would I do without being paid? And I would still do it every day, is writing books. Even if nobody would buy it, I would still write as long as I know somebody.
And then you would read it yourself.
And I would read it.
Actually, that's one very critical question that someone needs to answer. That, of course, not every day. It's also a very deep question. That what will I do if money is not a problem?
Yes.
Because that's really where the heart of your purpose is. And you need to accept delayed gratification so that it's not a matter of you yourself doing it right now with you know, the people that are in your life, but later on in life when you yourself have grown and have the capacity to actually handle that purpose.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about what should I do without being paid, I'm always thinking about what you would do if you didn't need money,
Yes.
and what do you do if you had all the money?
Oh,
Yes.
True.
If you had all the money, so you're no longer going to work for money, what is it that you would do? But Nashami, I want to just bring up this even as we begin to wind up.
Yes.
Your background in hospitality, and then now you're doing mentorship. Do you ever see a point where in the future you merge those two?
Yes.
Is the preparation, do you see the preparation as part of the purpose that you're fulfilling? Do you ever see where it merges?
When I joined CASOL, I remember the first day, actually, just the introduction. I thought I can just graduate from this class today because my answers, I've received all the answers I needed, because from that introduction class I came out, because when I left the hospitality industry, initially I thought we are done.
All right.
But God is my witness. Every time to date I get into a restaurant, I'm always seeing mistakes I want to sort. I have been in spaces where I walked into a reception and the receptionists were overwhelmed. I stepped in. I knew no one there. I just stepped in and helped. Then I went to see whoever I wanted to see because I realized this is me. I'm not leaving this industry anytime soon.
Right.
And so looking at that, and right now I'm into mentorship, yes, but I'm looking at it in two ways, not just the young people.
Yeah.
I'm looking at mentorship from the place of what I have been through, what I have gathered. Then I can use it to raise another and empower another.
Yeah.
I've been in that industry. I still love it. And I want to get back there and
Right.
still do mentorship because I've worked in the leadership space, and I believe there's so much that I can still pass on to leaders in the hotel industry.
Yeah.
So I'm working right now, I'm even working on a module just to bring it in the hotel industry so that it can be effective. Not just as someone who has read books, but someone who has been there.
True.
You've lived it.
which is the issue that most young people suffer. You realize that they want to succeed and succeed tomorrow. And if tomorrow is not the day, then I'm going to drop it today. So, you know,
And you know, there's that part. There's the part of if they read a finance book
Yes.
today,
You want to implement it.
they now know how to make
how
money.
if they read a relationship book today, they are
Oh, man.
people need process.
Yes.
It's a process.
There's a book I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich. This is the 5th time I'm reading it. The story behind this book, Napoleon Hill wrote the book, I think, so many years ago, but he did not earn money out of the book. Right now, the book has changed millions and millions of people's lives. He's dead, he's not there, but the book is still speaking for him. So sometimes the things that you love, the things that you cherish, will not pay immediately.
Yeah.
But then the greatest drive should be 3 things. I usually say, do it for the good of others.
Right.
Do it for the good of the society and for the greater good. So if you're doing it for yourself, that this is going to pay me, then be rest assured you're going to be disappointed big time, because some people died before enjoying the fruits of the labor.
That's true.
True story.
Rosalind, how do we bridge these gaps? Soft skills, finding your passion. How do we bridge these gaps? Because when you look back, like, you know, I'm in school as well right now. Having led people for so many years, I realized that I need to upgrade as well. And not just leading, but again, teaching leaders and stuff. When you get out and you're sitting there for a while, you look back, you see certain gaps, not just out there, what Nashami would say, you know, you point out at the gaps that are within the corporations or the organizations. Sometimes you see the gaps in yourself.
Yes, yes, you do.
You just feel like for where I need to go, I don't have the skills.
That's
Yes.
it.
How do we bridge those gaps?
I think this would cut across people in different culture settings, ages and all that. And the thing is that you need to be comfortable, first of all, with not knowing everything. Because the truth is that with the 21st century, I mean, you have all this knowledge out there that through the internet you can learn almost anything, and it's overwhelming, quite frankly. And sometimes you think, oh, you have to have this figured out, you have to get that understood. But the truth is that you don't. That is the first thing. Because even part of your soft skills will be that you need to learn to collaborate with others, let them in, let their competencies complement yours. And you can't...
And there's no degree for that.
No, really, there's no degree for that. There's no warning. And in fact, one quick fact I can mention is that there are at least 15 international companies that no longer require degrees. That's the future that we're getting into. I would encourage people to read a bit about the future of work from the World Economic Foundation, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and it's really about how our work relationships are changing in a world of increased automation and tech, and that will put a demand on how we interact with each other. And one of the first key values that people need to have is just a willingness to learn.
All right.
A willingness to learn will actually save you a lot of trouble, because there's the knowledge that you have, but it might be not relevant, as you're saying, and you're seeing all these gaps. So if you see the gap, be comfortable, first of all, not knowing, then be willing to learn and to collaborate. Let someone else complement what you have, because you don't have to have the pressure of getting it all figured out. Yes, be your best, but be willing to adapt, because that's the only way you will be able to have the balance and the comfort to actually work with things that are completely new to you, and it's it's a blue ocean for you that you don't have it all figured out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the time. My crew, they're just listening to all of this and then they're sipping it in. Well, that's all the time that we have had. I saw how they reacted when I said, well. Because they were listening in and listening in. That's all the time that we have had for today. Each and every one of us is a leader, because the first person you've got to lead is yourself.
Yeah.
The decisions you've got to make, your commitments, the words that you speak, because you will be judged by those, whether you were committed to what you said. The interconnections, all of those begin with the values that you have as a person. And how well you will do out there depends on how well you lead yourself. But part of that is you finding your purpose. Well, you have had it that when you find your purpose, you may not make the profits immediately. Everything around your life is intertwined. There is nothing that has no bearing to whom you are becoming. You just need to see it. You just need to leverage on it and become better. I had 3 former students of CASOL today just talking about finding purpose, hoping to keep on seeing them. One of them has gone through 2 of our modules. So please check out the Atemo School of Leadership on Facebook. Just check out what we have over there. Probably you are out there and you're like Reynard, who was already making money, and then you are sitting in this class, in this university, and you're wondering, what are you telling me, and I'm making more than you are? Probably you need certain kind of guidance like that, so you can check us out and come in. But again, check them out. Check out Florence Nashami on you use Florence Nashami Wangara on the Facebook, okay? Because she's done 2 books. Reynard uses Prince.
Prince Reynard Atela.
Yeah, man.
Everywhere.
There's too many of you using Prince.
I should graduate now.
Prince Reynard Atela.
Maybe I should graduate to King Reynard.
So you check out Prince Reynard Atela. He's also done a few books. And then check out Rosaline Wanjiru. She's been in several media spaces as well, talking about fintech and blockchain and all of that. So if you're trying to get clarity over those matters, please get in touch and get to know what they all do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, even as we sign out right now. Till the next time, see you on the CJ Scott.